Today in the lab, we discuss what to do
when babies attack!
Today's episode on Savage Infants is brought to you by Baby Bjorn. You know, Daddy Clay, when you have your baby in a front carrier from Bjorn facing outward, the claws and fangs can't reach you. Baby Bjorn.
You know, Daddy Brad, many a parent has learned the hard way that you have to respect the savagery of the newborn.
Yeah, like one of our listeners wrote in this week, he's got a little boxing baby himself.
That's right. Now, it sounds all funny until you catch a bottle across the bridge of the nose. Then you know that infant violence is no joke.
Yeah, but the larger issue is, when do you discipline a baby that's boxing you? What do you do with this little mini Mike Tyson running around?
Well, this sounded like a question for an expert, so we decided to ask one. We spoke with speaker and noted author Hal Runkle of Scream-Free Parenting fame.
So I have 3 children, 18-month-old, 4-year-old daughter, and 7-year-old son.
Okay.
My 18-month-old is by far the most aggressive. And, you know, will just do bodily harm to both of the older ones. And I've tried to say, you need to take care of yourself. What can I do for this little wild man?
He's not going to stop until they stop him. And right now, they think they can't do anything because he's only 18 months old. But he obviously knows that, so that he has no incentive to change his behavior, right? And so I think we do our kids a disservice when we kind of handcuff the older kids completely. I'm not saying, you know, lay off and knock his block off. But if they're not allowed to do anything, push him away, keep him at arm's length. If they're not allowed to touch him, then eventually they will knock his block off, right? It will just erupt at some point.
Explaining, especially to younger kids, that violence is bad, is something we should not do. Do you have any tips about that? Help me here.
I firmly believe in the teachings of turn the other cheek, right? But turn the other cheek is not doing it from a point of weakness. The only way turn the other cheek has any meaning is if you could do otherwise. If you're strong enough to return the favor, but you choose not to. And so I think early on in life that kids need to learn how to stick up for themselves so that later they can make a choice not to.
So the age-old question that a lot of folks are against, a lot of folks are for, can you spank as a consequence for violence?
You know, I think everybody kind of gets the inherent irony of that, you know, that it just doesn't feel right. And what I encourage more parents to do is go with their gut. I want you to discover consequences that you can set for your children that leave you feeling better about yourself, that leave you feeling taller. And I have never met a parent who spanked their children and then felt good about themselves afterwards.
Using your voice in such a way that you might not be screaming, but especially for a young child, you are forceful. Right. Is there a level that you can go to?
People ask me, are there any times when it's good to scream? And I'm like, well, yeah, like duck, you know? The deal is, the rarer those times are, the more effective those times can be. What will get their attention more is your presence. So a kid is, you know, a kid is 2 rooms away acting out. Don't yell out there. Stand up and walk and stand right beside him and get right next to him and speak very softly in his ear. What do you think is going to happen if you do that again? That communicates that, look, I'm in full control of myself, and that means that when I promise that there's a consequence waiting for you, I mean it.
Good to remember when your kid bounces a sippy cup off your dome.
Yeah, especially good to remember that it's only probably the second time the child's ever been disciplined.
What was the first?
Biting while nursing. Extremely painful.
First-hand experience?
50-50 parenting, dude.
Oh, it's disgusting. Anyway, if you're having an issue with biting or hitting, go on over to DadLabs.com and join the conversation. Get your aggression out by writing, not biting. DadLabs.com.
Today's episode is brought to you by Baby Bjorn and their Baby Carrier Active. You know, if you got the baby in the forward-facing position, they can get a little shadow boxing in. Baby Bjorn.